What is going on, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and I think it's more than safe to say if you've been at this channel for a minute, you know I love to put together my farming videos for you. You know what I mean? Build videos, things like that, and I do get a lot of questions in regard to the unlimited boss farm in the summit, and if there happens to be a build that I can use regardless of the difficulty that I'm playing on in the summit, and while the answer is yes, it's something that I really don't recommend doing. I will explain why at the end of the video, but for those of you that wanted to see this build, that's what I'm bringing you today. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, and we do have giveaways, but I will save that until the end of the video. We're going to jump right into the build breakdown, starting with the specialization. Now, for this version of the build, you can see I'm using Technician. I've chosen that for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, you get that extra skill tier. Secondly, it gives you an extra 12% damage bonus to drones, skill proxies, and robotics. And you also have access to the Artificer Hive, which is going to greatly increase your shield's efficiency and duration. And remember, regardless of which specialization you choose, have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. My primary weapon for this build is the Scorpio shotgun. It is still one of my favorite weapons in the game. If you do not have it as yet, I recommend hitting up Countdown or the Summit and set your targeted loot accordingly. The reason it's so effective is because of its talent Septic Shock, and with that talent, shooting a target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks add more severe debuffs to the target. You have poison, disorient, shock, and then after that, target takes an additional 20% damage from all sources. My secondary for this build is the Dark Winter SMG. If you do not have it, just put any other SMG in its place with the regular talent killer. That can still get the job done, and to be honest with you, I don't really switch to this weapon that often with the build, as I'm trying to just face tank everything, use the Scorpio, and try to get through it obviously as quickly as possible. And what's great about farming in the summit, it is close quarters, so typically I can just stick to using that primary weapon. Now onto the gear itself. You can see I'm using 3 Hunter Fury, 1 Badger Tough, and 1 Brazos. We're going to start with a backpack, however. It is the Ninja Bike, and we're using this because of its talent Resourceful, which is going to slot in with any equipped gear set and or brand set item to fulfill a requirement towards unlocking a gear set's bonus. Can unlock bonuses from multiple sets simultaneously. And not only that, this bag also has all 3 core attributes attached to it. You got that weapon damage, armor, and a skill tier as well, which obviously comes into play in all other aspects of this build. Moving on to the mask, it is the first of 3 pieces of the Hunter's Fury gear set, but once again, because we have the Ninja Bike equipped, we are getting that bonus, which is Apex Predator. Enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Killing a debuffed enemy with your weapon disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Moving on to the body armor, it is the name Badger Tough 0Fs. And once again, because of the Ninja Bike, we do get 2 brand set bonuses. We get that extra shotgun damage and total armor, and this has the talent Perfectly Unbreakable. When your armor is depleted, repair 100% of your armor. The cooldown is 55 seconds. And for those of you that may not have this, you could use a piece of Badger Tough with a regular talent Unbreakable. That can still get the job done. Moving on to the holster, it's a 1 piece of Brazos, and again, because of the Ninja Bike, we are getting 2 brand set bonuses, which means on this holster, we have 3 core attributes running. We have the armor, we have the weapon damage, and the skill tier as well. It is perfect for a build like this, and if you do not have it, I recommend hitting up Countdown. They seem to drop like crazy there. Last but not least, my friends, we have the knee pads and the gloves. They are the final 2 pieces of the Hunter's Fury gear set, and one thing I'm trying to do on every single piece of gear in this build is stack crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and protection from elites everywhere I can. And as far as my skills are concerned, I'm using the Crusader shield as well as the Artificer Hive, which is going to greatly help with the shield's efficiency and duration. Hope this video helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have at the channel, so if you happen to have any build ideas or tips or tricks for new and returning players, feel free to leave them, as the main goal is to help out as many people as possible. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do have giveaways here. You can see our current one is for an Xbox Series S. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced July 4th of this year. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage. I want to go over not only the unlimited boss farm and how it works, but also explain why, at least in my opinion, you always want to take your difficulty into consideration when you're putting a build together. Hope this video helped you out, and on that note, let's just jump right into the gameplay footage, and as always, thank you for your incredible support of this channel. We are going to use the exact same build you just saw me highlight in the build breakdown. We're going to go from heroic to challenging to legendary. So here's the thing. On legendary, this is a go-to build for me. Absolutely love it. If I'm running one of the lower difficulties, I don't need that much survivability. I just don't. You know, I don't need the Artificer Hive. I don't need a bunch of different things. And that is why you hear me say in all of my build videos that this is just a template. You want to take your time, make a build your own, and really learn, you know, for yourself, what do you need in regard to that balance of, you know, survivability and damage? Because unfortunately, you know, I see a lot of people and they don't have the balance that works for them in their build. You know, I see people run legendary pure DPS build and I'm just blown away. I can't do that. That's not in my wheelhouses yet. Is it something I want to learn? Yes, it's going to take time for me to do so. But for me, this is a build that works on legendary. You know what I mean? Which kind of takes me to talking about the term meta. And there's a reason something is a meta, because it hits the hardest, it does the most damage. It's just the way to go if you're trying to accomplish something. But for a lot of people out there, that type of play style just doesn't work. And one thing I've always done with this channel is make sure I highlight builds that I use. That depending on what I'm doing in the game, ooh, this is what I'm going to put on right now. This is perfect. Legendary Summit, I love this build. Absolutely great. If I was running this, you know, let's say I'm just doing, like you can see, challenging, and again, I'm using the same build you saw a moment ago. But if I happen to be farming on any difficulty other than legendary, I do not use this build. I just don't. I don't touch it. If I'm doing heroic or challenging, whatever it is, I go 4 Hunter's Fury. I use the Memento Backpack, Badger Tough in the chest with Intimidate. That's my go-to farming build. So just, again, take all that stuff into consideration. Now at this point, I want to talk about the boss farm. Still one of my favorite ways to farm in the game. This works on any 10th floor of the summit. I'm using floor 10. That's just the one I like. First thing you're going to do is take out the first wave of NPCs. Once you see the named boss, you can see I'm just directly going towards them. Take them out, pick up the loot, fast travel back to the lobby, and rinse and repeat. The most important detail about this farming method is that you cannot clear floor 10. You have to leave at least one NPC standing. You know, take out the boss, get out of there quickly. Just bail, okay? Because if you clear the floor, you're going to be pushed to floor 11, which then means you need to get yourself to floor 20 to do this again, or you have to go back to 1, get back to 10. You know, I mean, for me, I use this as a tool. That's why my character is always at floor 10, so I can do this anytime I want. And for those of you wondering, you can get to any 10th floor on any difficulty that you want. Set it to normal, speed run up to floor 10. When you get to 10, fast travel back to the lobby, change your difficulty. That's it, my fellow agents. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.